My name is Dr. Kathy Gruver. A little bit about me, if you don't know, I have a PhD in natural health with an emphasis in mind-body medicine. I studied mind-body medicine at Harvard probably 4 or 5 times, and I'm a lifetime learner. The place where I do my CEUs that I don't even need from my degree was having a Black Friday sale, and I bought 150 hours of continuing education that I don't need because I can't get enough, because I believe the more I know, the more I get to help all of you. You'll have to do the 150 hours of continuing education. I've written 8 books. A couple of those are in the back. I've lectured hundreds of times all over the world, including 2 TEDx talks. I'm an ACC certified coach, hypnotherapist with probably 12 years of experience at this point, and I'm a little more newly a psychedelic journey coach. I also do MDMA coaching, life coaching, couples coaching, team building, that sort of thing. I'm also a trapeze artist, and I do aerial silks because, who doesn't? What we're going to cover tonight is we're going to talk about how to use visualization, how visualization can be useful in your life. We're going to talk about using the elements, how this type of work can help with integration from some of your larger journeys, and how you can start to use myth and symbolism when you are doing full journeys with medicine. I'm also going to lead you through a couple of visualizations, and we're talking about myth versus archetype and how all of that works. So my background in visualization. So I'm an only child. I'm a daydreamer. I got a heck of an imagination. So I have been using visualization pretty much my entire life, not only for achievement and goal setting, also as a guide as a hypnotherapist for other people, and for my own healing. And we'll get to that in a second. And then as far as the myth goes, always obsessed with myth, Greek and Roman myth. That's all I cared about when I was in school. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons on and off since I was a little kid, so I got that aspect of the magic and the myth. And I loved reading things like Mists of Avalon and traveling to these sacred places that just hold so much for me. So it's been a journey for me of myth and magic and dragons and wizards. So when I was in high school, so I was a theater major. I got on stage in about 5th grade, still haven't gotten off. And when I was doing the summer stock production of Oklahoma, as everyone did if they were a theater person. But this was exciting because this was out of school. This was like the community show. And it was in a barn in Western Pennsylvania. And I thought, this is my big break. The agents are going to flock from Los Angeles and I'm going to be whisked away to be discovered after being, chorus girl number 4 in Oklahoma. And I'm starting to get sick. I could tell I was getting sick because I had that tickle in my throat. That tickle that means something's coming. And I was being very melodramatic, I'm sure, for a 15-year-old. And finally, this guy comes up and he goes, "Are you feeling okay?" And I said, "No, I'm starting to get sick, and I can't get sick because this is opening week, and I've got to sing, and I've got to dance, and people are coming, and this is my big break." And I'm sure he thought I was crazy. But he goes, "Yeah, okay. Have you ever visualized?" And I said, I'm only 15. I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, "Okay. Do you daydream?" I said, "Yes. And I'm an only child, so I can talk to myself, too, if you need me to." And he goes, "Great." He goes, "What I want you to picture is I want you to visualize your immune system." I don't know what you're saying to me right now. And he goes, "Okay, I want you to picture a space behind your heart," which I now know to be the thymus gland, which is the seat of the immune system. He said, "I want you to picture a white light growing there, glowing and growing and bigger, brighter and brighter. And I want you to picture that light rushing into your throat and devouring anything that's there. The bacteria, the virus, whatever it is. You know those movies where the cavalry comes rushing over the hill to save the day?" And I said, yeah. He said, "That's what I want you to picture. Can you do that?" And I went, "Yeah." So I went home that night and I pictured this white light and it rushing into my throat, and I could feel it. It felt this kind of cool feeling. And I pictured this battle and these horses and swords, and the cavalry came, and I fell asleep somewhere during the melee, and I woke up the next morning and I had no sore throat and I did not get sick. And I was pretty kick-ass in chorus girl number 3 in Oklahoma. It did not lead to my stardom, obviously, but it did kick off my adventure with visualization. So when I found myself in college struggling with a really bad low back injury, I was not only a theater person, I was a dancer, and I was going to audition to be a dancer on a cruise ship for the summer, because what could be better than that? And I was warming up for the audition, I was kicking high above my head, and my stable leg went out from underneath me, and I slammed on the concrete floor, just right on my back. And I danced for 4 hours and then went to sleep, because that's what you do when you're 20. And I woke up the next morning and I could barely move, and after weeks of ice and Tylenol and having to lay in the back of a classroom, which is not the way to make friends in a new school, by the way, I finally said to my dad, "I really need to have this checked out." So he took me to an orthopedic surgeon who did an x-ray, looked at the x-ray and said, "Wow, you have a pretty bad crack in one of your vertebrae." He said, let's do a full bone scan. I want to see how deep this goes, because at the very least, you're going to be in a back brace. And at the worst, we're probably going to have to do a fusion. Now, I didn't know at that point what a fusion was, but I did know at 20 I didn't want it. And so I got home that night, I was really scared and I was really upset, and this idea of visualization popped into my head again. And I thought, I wonder if I could visualize something. But visualizing my immune system wasn't going to work. So I thought for just a second, and that's what popped into my mind. So I have a cartoon construction worker that runs around my body and fixes things. I've had people say I shouldn't say it that way for fear that you guys actually think I have a cartoon that runs around my body and fixes things, but I do. Now, not all of you have a construction worker. They're very expensive and they're union, but you have something that can help you. And what I pictured is this little guy would walk up to my spine, and he had, mine's slightly different. Mine's wearing shorts with the socks cuffed over the work boots, and he's holding a tool chest, and he's got a red hat. But he walked up to my spine, he put his toolbox down, and he pulled out a thing of caulking. And he goes, and a little trout. And he started to fill in the crack. And one night he showed up with rivets and this steel plate, and he was fixing my back. And after about 2 weeks of this, I realized I didn't need as much ice. And I could sit for longer periods of time. And I didn't seem to need the Tylenol. And I went to the doctor and he did the scan. And a couple days later, I found myself standing in his office. And he goes, okay, so here we go. Here we have the x-ray. You can see 1, 2, 3. There's the crack. And now here on the bone scan, you can see 1... And he's looking and he's comparing, and I'm so proud. And I'm so excited to tell him how I did this. And instead he turned to my dad and said, he saved you a lot of money. I don't know what you did, kid, but there's no crack. And he walked out the door. And I so desperately wanted him to ask how I did it, because I wanted to tell him about the construction worker. Now, in hindsight, I maybe would have ended up on a different floor of the hospital had I told him that. But it worked. And what's so cool is studies support that visualization helps us with things. It helps us with sports performance and athletic performance. They've done studies about high jump and dart throwing and free throws. They've done studies with health, for wound healing. They did a study where they had someone visualize that they were sitting next to a fireplace and you could feel the heat on this one side of your body. And then they did skin temperature. And it showed that the side that was next to the fireplace was hotter than the side that wasn't. And you think, okay, so we can make one arm hotter. That's amazing that we can do that. That's incredible what our mind can do, because our brain does not recognize the difference between what we're thinking about and imagining and what's actually happening. This is why visualization and myth and archetype and these symbolic journeys are so powerful. It helps with immune boosting and mass shrinking. Not mass shrinking, that's only the problem, but mass shrinking. They can say that tumors and masses shrink when we visualize that they are. Please don't stop going to your Western medicine doctor. Please don't just sit around and visualize. But if it helps, even 10%, why would we not take that opportunity? And what's so cool, we have neuroplasticity. So for 2 to 3 weeks after a mushroom journey, our brains are plastic. Our brains are ready to make changes. It's ready to learn. It's ready to grow. So if you're visualizing for goal achievement, for a career that you want, for that partner that you want in your life, for healing, if you're visualizing that, it's going to be so much more powerful after medicine, because your brain's going to be on board with that. So we're like, okay, let's make that happen. Let's build these pathways to start changing the brain. It's so incredibly powerful, and it's extraordinarily exciting to me. So let's talk about aphantasia. Aphantasia is if you cannot see anything. When I say close your eyes and picture a cat, and you don't see a cat, you see nothing. Some of you might experience that. Not horribly common, but I have had clients show up to my office for hypnosis and tell me they can't see anything. And I go, okay, no problem, because conceptually you understand things. You know what a lemon is. You don't have to Google what a lemon looks like every time you go to the store to buy a lemon. You conceptually understand that. So if I'm guiding someone through a journey and I know they can't see, I'll say visualize, imagine, picture, or pretend. And maybe it's sensing, knowing, hearing, feeling, imagining. So even if you can't see, that's okay. And with a guided journey, it's actually easier if you can't see, because I'm guiding it and you can tap into other senses. So if you are someone that doesn't get vivid images, not a problem, it'll be fine. So let's talk about working with symbolism. So the first thing is, nothing means the same to everyone. I had clients run to the dream dictionary to say what this dream about this cat meant, and everything's going to mean something different. Yes, there are overarching archetypes, and there are certain things that are found throughout antiquity that are symbols that are commonplace throughout time, but it's still going to mean something different for you than somebody else. So just because you're both visualizing a mouse, it doesn't mean the same thing. So beware of generalize, hey, this means this. Call on your wise and loving, or go to your safe and sacred space, which I'm going to take you to tonight if you find yourself ever in trouble. Allow for the unexpected. I did these journeys with a client who was he was an atheist. I mean, like, there was no debating atheist, period. That was it. And Jesus appeared in one of his visualizations. And he turned to Jesus and said, "What the hell are you doing here? I don't even believe in you." And Jesus just laughed at him. You never know what's going to happen. So be prepared for if you can prepare for the unexpected, prepare for it. Take notes if you can, or record it. If you're in my office doing this, it's a 4-hour experience, and I'm taking notes or I'm recording what you're saying back to me. And don't get lost in meaning making during the journey. Don't sit up and go, "Oh, let me tell you about this." Let that be for the integration later. Let that be for the session later. Stay in the space and explore where you are, because that's the magic of that. I want to talk about elemental correspondences just briefly before we head into the myth and archetype, and then we'll guide you through some journeys. So my instructor who taught me all of these visualizations said, if you're ever in trouble, head to the elements, because those are universal. And the correspondences typically are the north is money, John, material things, and that corresponds with pentacles in the tarot. East is new beginnings, mental, intellect, that's the wands. South is fire, passion, renewal, love, relationships, and that goes with swords. And water is emotions, cleansing, farewell in the west, and that's cups. So often if you find yourself facing a certain direction, or, hey, I see this yellow space and I'm feeling new beginnings, and maybe you're facing the east, maybe you can actually program that in your journeys. So if you find yourself lost sometime, ask which direction you're facing, and that might give you some interesting insight into where you're headed. The difference between myth and archetype is myth is a story, typically, that involves some sort of magic, magical beings, supernatural elements, and its heart inside is a recurring symbol or motif. Most civilizations throughout time have viewed a bird that catches on fire and then renews, a phoenix. That's been in cave paintings, that's been throughout different continents, different civilizations. That is one of those archetypes that has stayed true throughout time. Things like swords, snakes, dragons, rainbows, waterfalls. Anything that you guys have had appearing in your journeys that seem to be one of those strong archetypes. Anything that pops into your guys' head?
Snake.
Snakes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You said somebody over there said snakes. Oh, yes.
Birds of prey.
Oh, birds of prey. Yeah. Specifically one, or just sort of all?
Corporal.
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Wow. Beautiful. Nice. So then we go to water, we go to west. It's emotion. It can be, right? All these correspondences start to last. The last large journey that I did, for some reason, there was just a bunch of penises. There was just penises everywhere. Every moment of this journey, it's like, there's another penis. It wasn't attached to anyone, but just like stone penises and penises coming out of the ground. And when we shared, because there was about 30 people going through this journey, and they said, tell us briefly about your journey, and I went, what is with all the fucking dicks? And everyone just starts laughing, and they're like, oh, Kathy. And I went, no, but there's just penises everywhere. And we did our integration as artwork. So we all sat down with pen and paper and drawings and paint, and we just drew stuff. I just put penises all over the place. And I didn't do it on purpose. I wasn't like, oh, I hope I get penises during this journey, because that's not what your prep is for typically. But that gave me the opportunity to go home and ask the Google, what does the phallus represent? I know what a penis is, but throughout time, what is the symbolism of the phallus? And I read page after page of what that meant for, like the Amazonians and the Aztecs. And it was a fascinating journey figuring out about the journey. So you never know what's going to pop up. The hero's journey, for those of you not familiar, tends to be a literary concept that leads the hero through, I don't want to talk about that. We're talking about the psychedelic journey. Okay, it's the exact same thing. The psychedelic journey follows the hero's journey pretty much to the letter. And it's kind of fascinating, right? Because you're sitting in the ordinary world and you get this call to adventure. You suddenly talk to someone who's done a journey, or you watch Michael Pollan's special, or you see something on TV about what MDMA can do, or an ayahuasca ceremony, and you're like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing. I want to go do this. And then maybe you're like, I don't know, it's kind of expensive and it's a little scary. What will my friends think, and what will my dad say, and what do my kids think? And you resist. There is that certain level of doubt. And then you meet someone that convinces you in a very healthy way that this is a cool thing. Maybe it's Jacob. Maybe it's somebody here tonight where you're like, yeah, I totally want to try this thing. This is amazing. And you step onto that path. You cross the threshold and you have these tests and these allies and these enemies, and you approach this dark space, which for me got to it through the mouth of a snake. It opened its mouth and I went, guess I'm going down there. And I dove right in. That was my cave. That was the dark place, right? There's ordeals, you seize your sword, and then you come out of this journey and you have the elixir. You're a changed person. Anybody ever have a journey and not feel profoundly changed in some way for that? Anybody just go back to the normal person they were before? I don't know if it's not much has changed. That's okay. It's still an experience. And on some level, we're different. I don't think we can have that kind of experience and not be in some way slightly changed. Maybe it's not vast. But you step back out into the world on this new normal. You know things, you feel things, you saw things that you didn't expect. You return with this elixir. And I know so many people that have done this. Man, they have their first mushroom journey, and what's the new thing? Oh my God, dude, you have to try mushrooms. It was the greatest thing ever. I just connected with my first, and we're gonna try mushrooms. The ayahuasca, you gotta try ayahuasca. We all do that. Homeopathics or herbs or whatever, this new restaurant. We wanna share that thing that had a profound impact on us with other people. And then, with the hero and with ourselves, it circled back to the ordinary world. And sometimes one of two things happen. Either the ordinary world no longer welcomes the hero because he's different, he's changed. Or you step back into the ordinary world and go, I don't know that I belong here anymore because you changed. So this, when I was looking at this, maps pretty closely to the hero's journey. And things like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, all of those things pretty specifically follow the hero's journey as a story. So literature, movies, TV, all of these things track that, and I believe, too, psychedelic journeys as well. I took a weekend course in visualization, and it covered everything from end-of-life journeys to healing journeys to mythic journeys, and my instructor was an incredible woman named Cheryl. And she gave us all of these and said, please share these, do with these what you will. So some of these are based on hers, and some of these are just coming out of me. And the first thing I'm going to do is take you to your safe and sacred space. Because I believe when we meditate, when we do journeys, if we have a safe place that we can go to, maybe in moments of stress, maybe in moments of things that aren't working out in our lives, if we have that safe place to land, and some of you maybe already have it, but that tends to be where I start. And what I'm going to do is in between every segment of the journey, I'm going to bring us back up and out, so that we can share if we want to, or ask questions or talk about it, which is exactly how I would do it in my office. Now, what's going to be different is in my office, when it's one-on-one, I want to hear what you're seeing. There's 25 of you. I can't hear what you're seeing. Please don't talk. I'm going to ask you questions like what's standing in front of you. That is not an invitation to shout out what is standing in front of you, because then it would be a mess. So keep it inside. You'll remember everything you need to remember. And then this is why we'll share afterwards. If you want to take notes, that would be a beautiful time to do so. The other challenge with doing a group journey like this is I'm a pretty fast processor. So if you say you're on the path, walk ahead, there's a wizard, great, I'm there. Other people are slower. They go down a path and it's winding and it's hills, and I'm not inside all of your heads. So I'm going to try to do my best to time it in a way that all of you can keep up with. If you can't, that's okay. If I'm on to step 3 and you're all still on step 2, do step 2. That's totally fine. Or skip step 2, knowing you can come back to it and head to step 3 with me. So I will do my best to make it a good pace for you. If you're already ahead, enjoy that moment. Just enjoy being at whatever step you're at. I'm going to ask the medicine and the consciousness of this room to give everyone a gentle experience. Here in my office, and we end up going into deep trauma, cool, because I'm right there with you. Here, because there's so many of you, we'll try to keep it a little lighter. If you go someplace not super, know that you're here and you're held and you're protected, and that we're all here supporting each other energetically and cosmically in that journey. Go. So I invite you all to close your eyes. Then right off the bat, I'm just going to ask us all for a moment to just tap into a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the medicine. Gratitude for a community where we all get to share these ideas, these moments. It's a huge blessing to be in a community that offers something like this, and I'm grateful for all of you here. And I asked the medicine to be gentle, and they were all lifting each other up in a place of respect and support and love and compassion. I want you all to take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Just breaths that signal it's time to go inward and to relax and let go. And as your breathing returns to its natural, normal, rhythmic breath, we appreciate that breath. The consistency, the pattern, that life-giving force. Now I want you all to just send your attention down to your feet. Just noticing how your feet feel in their shoes. How they feel on the floor or against the chair. Does one feel different than the other? And as you're noticing your feet, you're going to find a sensation of comfort and relaxation, of calm, will grow in there. A feeling of relaxation that moves through the arch of the foot, through the ball of the foot, and weaving in between every toe. Moves through the heel, across the toe. And the comfort and relaxation circles around the ankle bones. It's like you're wearing socks of relaxation. And that relaxation and that comfort and that calm slowly moves up the body inch by inch, spreading warmer and brighter. At the calves and the shins. Circling around the knees. And moving up through the thighs, the front of the thighs, the back of the thighs. Relaxing and releasing, letting go. Moving up the body through the glutes into the sacrum. And moving up vertebrae by vertebrae up the spine, the muscles along, relaxing and spreading out. Releasing any tension. Moving up the front of the body through the torso, through the hips, and the pelvis. And every organ is bathed in a sense of peace and health and comfort and relaxation. To pass the solar plexus. You might notice your breathing deepen just a little bit more as those muscles between the ribs relax and spread out. Still moving up along the spine between those shoulder blades. And the relaxation from the front of the body and the back of the body meet up at the shoulders. As hard-working shoulders, and with every inhale and exhale, the stressors from the day, the week, the month, the year just fade away with every exhale. And that relaxation cascades down the arms through the biceps and triceps, into the forearms, through those tiny bones of a wrist like water moving through rocks at a creek. and down to every fingertip. And that relaxation that started at the feet and moved up through the calves and the shins, front of the thighs and back of the thighs, through the back, and the front of the torso, and the shoulders and the arms, now relaxes the neck and the throat. Moving up over the scalp, it's like a million tiny fingers giving you a head rub. And moves down your face, and facial muscles relax. The eyes relax in their socket, and the tongue relaxes in the mouth. And from top of head to bottom of feet, there's a profound sense of peace and comfort and relaxation, radiating through your whole body, radiating through the room, allowing everyone on every level to experience that peace and that comfort. And I'd like you all to visualize, imagine, picture, or pretend you're standing in a hallway. There's 3 doors, one in front of you, one to the right, one to the left. And I want you to just notice what those doors look like. Are there archways with curtains, metal doors, wood doors, sliding doors, some futuristic door? Could just be a wall of mist. And knowing that there's no wrong choice, any of those doors is going to take you to a safe and sacred space that's yours. So just noticing those 3 doors, maybe feeling a pull towards one. Because on a count backwards from 5 down to 0, on 0, you're going to open that door however it opens, and you're going to step into a safe and sacred place for you. It could be one of your imagination. It could be a place you've been to before, a place from history, a place from movies or TV. Always expect the unexpected. So one last glance to those doors, and you've made your choice. And on 5 and 4, and 3 and 2 and 1 and 0, you're going to open that door and step into that beautiful, sacred, safe place that's yours. Now I want you to notice everything there is to notice. What do you see? Are the colors, shapes? They're indoors or outdoors. They're hard edges or soft feelings. Are there any sounds in your environment? Nature sounds, water, music, wind. How does it feel to you? Maybe an actual physical sensation like temperature on your skin, or just how it feels conceptually. Is this a place you know? Have you been there before? As you walk around and explore that space, how does it feel to walk there? Is it soft ground? Is it hard? Do you wear shoes? When you take that deep inhale, are there steps in you are? As you explore in that space, do whatever you mean to. Make it even more yours. You have the ability to create whatever you want in this environment. Holding on to those images, feelings, sounds, smells. You know, and then in this safe and sacred space, you can return whenever you need to in meditation, in medicine, for respite, and for knowledge, and for safety. This beautiful place just for you. And you can go whenever you need to. In a few moments, we'll say goodbye to the space just for now. You can return wherever you need to. But taking any last knowledge or last ideas you need from this space and put them exactly where they need to be for you to carry them with you. I'm holding on to all the positives from this experience. I'm going to count back up, count 1 to 5. In just a few seconds, you'll come back to this room, this line, this space. And on 1, taking a deep breath in and out. And 2 is wiggling your fingers and toes and own movement back in your body. And 3, 4 is very alert, not very. 5 is eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, and alert. Anybody want to share anything about where you headed? I love to hear where people have gone.
I'll say that it took a long time to get there, and when I got there, and there was a place, but I don't remember probably half of what happened, and I didn't hear you tell us to come up. But my subconscious did.
Yeah.
Came up.
That journey. Did you take Microdose?
Yes.
Okay. It's okay to say yes. It's safe. Yeah. Wow. That's great. Interesting. So do you know where you were?
It's a made-up place.
Oh, yeah. Great. You don't have to tell us. But cool. So you went to a made-up place. Nice. Very cool. Anybody else? Who went to someplace fabulous? Yes, sir.
I went back to my youth
Yeah.
by the river in Philadelphia
Nice.
with my dad and my sister.
Wow.
It was Easter, cherry blossoms, very real.
Wow. Beautiful. That's amazing. Lovely. Have you thought about that in a while? I mean, is that something that comes to you frequently or just sort of popped in?
No,
Wow.
it just kind of filtered in, and it's nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love that. Anybody else?
I went to a place that I usually go to on the ocean bluffs, just on bluff looking at the ocean. I'm familiar with. Sometimes I ref work there and this one.
So you went to a real place.
Yeah.
And you went to a memory. And you went to a made-up spot. That's amazing. This is what's so fun about this. Though I have noticed when I do groups like this that multiple things tend to be the same. So you might have 3 people go, I was at Stonehenge, I was at Stonehenge, I was at Stonehenge. So there is this sort of collective consciousness that we all tap into. Anybody else head to a spot that was meaningful in some way or just happened?
I went to a totally made spot which I usually go to when I do a therapy.
Okay.
But usually the therapist takes you down the stairs, and
Yeah.
it is he didn't take me down the stairs, so I stayed right there, try to open the door. And it was really cool. And there was in nature, and you made up trees and grasses, and temperature was perfect. It's cool. And I just could have get down there. I put a nice keto, and I read down or next door was nice.
That's great.
It was really nice.
Oh, good. Yay. You got some relaxation. So the other thing that's great about this kind of work is the more, it's sort of a hypnosis rule. The more you come up and go back in, the deeper you actually go. So don't be surprised if this next one is actually a little more impactful than the first one. And by the time we get to the last one, it's going to be like, wow. So that's how those tend to work. I call that, usually not that station. So that's good. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to have you all close your eyes again. And holding on to that beautiful relaxation that we already established from top of head to bottom of feet. Letting that breath carry us. Remembering the safety and security that we've built here. The support and compassion. The respect and the love for self and for everyone else. And I'll just do a simple count back for 5 or 4. And 3 and 2 and 1 to that relaxed place. And the door to your imagination opens. You walk down a path that you know well. The wind suddenly changes, the path takes a turn. And you walk down a path in woods where you've never been before. It's different. You close your hand, and when you open it again, visible or invisible, you hold a special crystal. It's yours. And it can clarify, protect, guide. It could do more. Now you get ready, because everything lays up. The ground, the path, you, up, up and off, to the realm of the meadow. And here you walk forward in your meadow. What does your meadow look like? Take it all in, any and all of your senses. See what there is to see. Hear what there is to hear. Enjoy any sense, any sensations. What's all around you in this meadow? What are the things only you would notice? You turn, and behind you, you see your wise and loving. A friendly helper comes forward. What does your wise and loving look like? noticing everything about me. It gives you something. What is it? We keep moving forward. Somewhere in the meadow, we come to some sort of stream. And you follow the stream to discover the hidden place where the waters form a calm, deep pool. How do you feel by these waters that form a calm, deep pool? As you look at the reflection of the pool, your wise and friendly helper whispers to look beyond the surface reflection. Looking deeper and deeper into the quiet waters. There's something there for you within. What happens next? Do you reach for it? Or does it reach for you? What happens here? What do you find? How do you feel about it? Remember, your crystal has powers to clarify if you need it. If you'd like to, you can talk it over with your wise and loving helper who's always at your side, ready to help. With one more sweeping look at the meadow, you take it all in. Is there anything else important for you about the meadow? Your wise and loving helper thanks you for coming. And somehow you already know you can visit that meadow anytime you'd like. So while the images fade for now, we hold on to the positive thing each of us experience. We open our eyes on 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. Eyes open, wide awake, and it works. So, lots of things happen that way. You've got a crystal. You met your wise and loving, friendly helper, and there was something maybe for you in the water. So, anybody have anything from that that they want to share?
I want to quickly point out that in my vision, I was in snow, like the picture, and then it was snow, little trees, and also there's a rabbit.
Oh, snow and a rabbit. Okay, perfect. Oh, wow. I got 2 out of 5. That's right. No Obi-Wan Kenobi. No. That's awesome. Anybody else want to share a part of that experience?
I had a big dog approach me.
Oh yeah. Do you know what the big dog's name was?
No, just a big yellow, wise, loving dog.
Wow.
It would have been my dog.
Oh, here we
Go, that was also, it was my wise and loving was my dog Brooks, who was a yellow lab.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He gave me his paw. He didn't really talk. He just had like,
Who's there?
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Anybody else? Anybody surprised by what they saw?
It was him.
I had a Native American spirit guide named One Wolf.
Wow. Okay, well, I got 3 of the. Okay. Wow. We got Dons. We've got. Oh, wow, that's incredible. Yeah.
I noticed that I start processing all the time, and I have to stop myself from processing so that I would go through the experience.
Yeah.
But I noticed this time that my mind was making up this story, like I'm a playwright, going, "Oh, I don't think that's so good." So not being a playwright, I switched and I said, "Well, what I have to do is I have to become it, like it's real."
Yeah.
And so I made it real around me, and then more and more things happened, and
Nice.
it was interesting.
That's cool. Beautiful. Well, and I've had people come out of sessions where they go, I feel like I was making it up. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you kind of are. I mean, it's coming from somewhere.
But it's different to be writing the script
Yep.
than just experiencing it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great realization. Yeah, beautiful. The reason there's a lobster out there is I was working with a client and I said, any turn in your wise and loving is there. What does it look like? And he goes, and I thought, oh, this is going to be good. And he says, it's a lobster. And typically the next question is, what color is lobster? And he goes, red. So for the rest of the day, the rest of his journeys, he had this red lobster that kept following him around, this giant lobster. And when we came out of the first one, like I just brought you guys out, I said, how is that for you? And he goes, why is there a fucking lobster? And I said, I don't know. And he goes, and it had to be red. It had to be a red lobster. And I said, well, it does seem to kind of go with the lobster. And I said, have you been to a red lobster? Do you want to see it? He's like, no, I've not been thinking about a red lobster. So it's weird how all this stuff pops in. And what was fascinating is lobster gave him, the crystal that he gave him was a pearl. So he opened his claw and this pearl fell into his hand, this blue pearl, and it ended up being pertinent for a journey later in the sequence. So these are meant to, at least the way I do it, these are meant to build on each other. So the things that you just experienced, feel free to bring with you into our next adventure. Because like I said, when I do it in my office, it's 4 hours. I mean, you are in and out, there's lunch included, you're in and out all day. And it builds on itself. And some of the things that you got at first, you end up using later, which is really a profound experience. So, any other input into your wise and loving, or what was in anybody get anything out of the water?
Yeah. I got golden light.
Ooh,
It's a big puddle.
wow.
Sorry.
I'm all about golden light. That's pretty cool. How did you go in to get
I
it?
went in.
You went into the water.
I had to jump in
Yeah.
the water, but I could breathe, so
Sure. Well, yeah. I should have worked that in. Yes, you can breathe in the water. That's awesome. What did you feel when you got into the golden light?
just very absorbed and warm. Was like jello feeling.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's really cool. Anybody else see anything out of the water?
I got to go in the canoe.
You went. Perfect. Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. I heard something over here. Yeah.
I got
frustrated because I didn't have anything coming out of the water. It was just black.
Oh.
And you were going on and on and on, and it was, the water was black. I didn't see anything. I didn't see a reflection or nothing. It was just black. And I don't know, it feels like it was a minute. I'm just looking, waiting to see something as you're haunting, and then a black snake came out of the water, and I climbed on, and he slithered off through the meadow towards the mountains. So that's where I left.
Nice.
Yeah, and that has been a theme in the past. But what I was really taking away was that frustration of wanting to see something, but it wouldn't appear. And I thought, well, I'm just not going to see anything. And then boom, out popped this snake. So
So surrender.
yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the wanting gets in the way of the having.
Thank you.
Someone write that down. That was really in your phone. I can't even take it by your advice. I didn't even take one.
I didn't either.
Bit perfect. Because we do get so in our head, as if you breathe and like look away, that's when we go, oh, there it is. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's cool. So when you said the theme of the snake or the theme of wanting something and it
A
not
snake and me climbing on the snake. So I don't know if that was just, oh, there's a snake, this is what I should do, or you would know by the
there were no wrong answers. Guy had a lobster with a pearl. I mean, you know, I'm not one to say what's right or wrong.
Cool.
That's great. That's cool. Lovely. Anybody else have anything with that they want to share? You guys okay in the back? Beautiful. Awesome. They got the squishy couches. Good job. Yeah. Okay. So these were other than the lobster, which was a client of mine. I did have one client who Obi-Wan was his wise and loving. He was not really a Star Wars person, but that's who appeared. He's like, guess I get Obi-Wan, which is not a bad idea. I had several people in one get bunnies. Like 3 or 4 people in the group all got rabbits, which I thought was pretty amazing. One gal had a black wolf, and she was having a lot of pain in her body and a lot of, she's got rheumatoid arthritis and a lot of autoimmune conditions. And so during her journeys, this black wolf, she could ride on it to the various places so that she didn't have to walk, and it saved her body the pain. And then Mother Mary is always with me in my journeys, and a huge, she's probably just sitting right there with me now. So she comes to me a lot during not only meditation, but also journeys. And I know that's a common theme. Often there are spiritual, religious things that happen, even if you're not spiritual, religious. Like my atheist client that had Jesus walking with him. So we never know what we're making up or what our subconscious is going to show us. Are you ready to meet the dragon? I'm going to have you close your eyes again if you haven't already. And recalling that relaxation and how it feels in your body and your mind and your being. And carrying with you those gifts from the other journeys. The crystal, if you were given one, visible or invisible. Knowing that you're wise and loving is just a call away. The gift that they gave you. Perhaps what you found in the water. All of those things are going to be useful for you as you continue your journey. The door of your imagination opens, and you walk through to discover the unknown. The familiar suddenly changes. The path slopes up and takes a turn off into a place you've never been before. What is that path like? And you take this path with purpose. You're going to have to make a plan. You're on the lookout for the land of the dragon. Ancient tales say that hidden within the dragon's treasure cave is a different kind of treasure.
a mysterious experience of some kind.
Something you go through. Feel. Will be a great value to you. You will come to a place on the path where you can look over and see your goal, the treasure cave, with the dragon always on guard across the entrance to keep everyone out. What does the dragon look like? How do you feel about the dragon? There are 3 ways you can get by the dragon. You can fight it. You can distract it. Or you can befriend it. First, you decide and make your plan to get past the dragon. Now you know what you're going to do. And you make your move to fight, to distract, or befriend. Experience what happens and how it goes. Now, what are your feelings about Brad? You walked forward into the treasure cave. What's it like inside? What kind of things are in there? What do you have to do to find that mysterious experience? Where do you discover it? What is the experience? What's its value to you? How do you feel about what he discovered? Is there anything you take with you from the treasure cave?
and you're ready to leave, we walk out of the cave and find the path forward. And for now, while the images fade, let the conscious and subconscious work together harmoniously and bring back the positives from this journey today. At 1, 2, move it back to the body. And 3 and 4 and 5, eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, and move.
Seeing smiles. Okay. How many of you fought the dragon? How many of you snuck past the dragon? A few. How many of you befriended the dragon? Oh, lots of befriending. Did any of you decide you were going to do one thing and then when it came to it, changed your mind? You know?
Oh, actually,
Yeah. What did you originally think you were going to do?
I was going to befriend the dragon, and then my friends were going to distract it in case I wasn't friends. But then I decided that also was not above board. So I told the dragon that, and I'm sorry I had that thought. We're not doing that, and I'll never do that to you. So I said, you don't have to be my friend. Just let me in your cave. How's that? So he did, and
Wow.
yeah.
Ask and you shall receive. That's pretty cool. For those of you who distracted it, because there are a few of you, how did you distract it? Excuse me. You had said distract. You said distract, right? And how did you distract the dragon?
That's kind of.
Okay.
No.
Did you have a lobster? No.
No, I told it there was a nice looking sassy dragon over there to go. And he liked it. Well,
So you distracted it with a hot dragon. Perfect. Hey, well, it's fire breathing. It could have been a hot dragon with you. That's great. Cool. I've only had, maybe only one person that fought the dragon. And when I asked him why he chose to fight the dragon, he said, I realized the dragon was my ego, and if I didn't slay it, I would never move forward in the world. I went, wow, okay. So, I'll let you guys decide what the dragon was to you. And is there a part of you that you have to befriend? Is there a part of you that you need to sort of distract yourself from and experience that? What was the treasure for you?
Just going in there.
Just being there?
Yeah.
The experience itself?
And like being friends with a dragon.
Yeah, pretty good experience. Yeah. Anybody have like the mysterious experience that you had to find? Anybody have one of those?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Well, ultimately, I went into the cave and it was like a golden disco ball basically inside there. Everything's sparkly and then you said to find the thing, and that part of the cave was completely dark and nothing there. And that was what I was supposed to go in, and then coming out, just being like, "What's up, dragon? You're fabulous." Because she was like purple and green, tomboysy, black, and yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and remembering what your dragon looks like too is also a cool thing. Yes, there's some of the
Yeah, my treasure was flight. Flight to be able to fly. Wow. And as I approached and I started talking with the dragon, we started chatting and talking about the long hours and we just had a great conversation. Yeah, it turned out that the treasure was friendship.
wow. I love these so much. That's really cool. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, we've got a yes.
In the cave, it was a long, drawn out, elongated heartbeat. And you said take with us from the other journeys. So there was the one in the beginning where I was a little kid, And when we were young, we used to go and play in the Franklin Institute inside the heart.
Wow.
And you would hear it beat, and that's where I went in the cave.
Wow. Love that. That's very cool. Anybody else? Okay.
Yeah, so I saw the dragon, which I remember being scary. At the side of my own fear. So I had to move it and bring it back into myself. And then when I opened the door in the door, it was exactly the same door inside. Because it was that it's already all here.
Yeah.
And it's already all happening.
Wow.
And so it was about realizing that the choice to love what is always an option. And so then I walk out with nothing back into the place I started.
How do you feel about that?
I wish I could do that more often.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow. So you were to sit. Yeah?
Yeah. So I befriended the dragon by giving it the crystal. And it took me into a long, dark cave, and I wasn't sure that we were going to ever get anywhere. Just keep walking. And as I guess we got to the end of the cave, I saw an old woman sitting there in a chair, and the dragon laid the crystal, in her hands, and she charged it with something. I don't know, it just became more powerful, and she handed it back to me, and I left with that. But I'm not sure what I was supposed to do with that crystal. Yeah.
Lovely. I like it. Yeah, so the incorporating of other journeys with this one, right? So the guy with the lobster that was given the pearl gave the pearl to the dragon to befriend it and then went in the cave. So it's like when we do these sequentially like this, and there's dozens of these journeys, these just happen to be my favorites, and they're kind of good for groups. It's not uncommon for people to have a through line from start to finish with those types of things.
Easy to
just. Hey, I got this thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fabulous. Awesome.
Did you create these journeys?
So the mythic class that I took, she gave us a binder of journeys. And some are time management and, oh crap, I have cancer and I can't get anything done and I have trouble studying. And there's a whole section in there of end of life journeys for people. There's a section of the mythic and archetypal, which is what I tend to pull from most. But there's like a whole section of child within and inner child work. And so I have this as a resource and I pull from them for my clients. Sometimes I just make them up. Like the first one we did just totally came out however it was going to come out. And I changed these a little bit, but these are all Cheryl's work. And she said, share these with people. So yeah, she's pretty incredible. Yeah. And now I have this giant binder of all these beautiful journeys. So, and sometimes I just make them up. Depending on what clients come to my office for, but it's easy in a group to just kind of, yeah. All right, our final journey of the night. And letting your eyes close one last time. And remembering all the beautiful experiences we've already had with dragons and caves and water and crystals and experiences. And sacred places, and wise and loving beings that are with us always. The door of imagination opens, and you walk forward to discover the unknown. You find yourself walking forward on a mountain path you'd never taken before. You climb the path up the mountain, and you can look in all directions. With all of your senses, what is that like? As you go forward, the path curves, and you come to the mystic grove of trees, a place of age-old mystery. And in the center of the trees are all your guardians, friendly helpers, supporters, ancestors, angels, guides from within your journeys and from without, and even more beings. And others. And each in turn, they come forward with a special gift for you and explain why it's an important gift. I'll give you time to experience this mystic ceremony of the grove, how it feels to be with your supporters and all the gifts they give you. And one by one they approach. Offering gifts. Noticing how it feels to be with all this love and support. Accepting with grace all the gifts they give you. Accepting any advice or words of wisdom from those that gathered at you. Taking the moment to ask a question if it feels appropriate. And as the feeling of this journey comes to completion, your guides and supporters will always be there with you whenever you need them. With thanks and gratitude all around, you can bring that feeling forward with you. Bringing that from your journey today, the good, the positive, and the true. into your conscious outer awake life to reinforce the ongoing support and connection always within you. And at one, with a cleansing breath in and out. 2, 3, open 5, eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. And alert. Lots of booming on that one. Welcome back. That is how I end all of the journeys in my office. Because to me, that is the culmination of all of them. So no matter what I pick out of the giant book, that is the one that I like to end with because it brings it all together. It invites in the masters, the guides, the wise ones that you might not have known before. And I do something very similar before I do past life regression because I want to make sure that there's access to those guides and masters before I send someone back to lifetimes. How about that? Any shares? See a lot of nodding, smiling, and tears around the room. That's cool too. Yeah, I always cried during that one. Yeah, the faces tell it all. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me here. The Real Life World. I brought books. They're in the back. They're $10 and $15 if you have any questions. And then feel free to reach out to me. I do guides like this. I do hypnosis for all sorts of things. Coaching, life coaching, couples coaching, executive coaching, psychedelic coaching, microdosing and macrodosing with this kind of journey. Full mushroom journeys. I do MDMA coaching sessions. And I'm really excited to be back, and I can't believe I'm the first third timer. That's pretty amazing. Yeah.